just gonna wait and see that we gonna update the screen on YouTube. Okay, perfect. So we are live. So hello everyone. My name is Lana. That's another No Blah Blah Leadership event. No Blah Blah Leadership, that's a community for leaders in product and tech, and actually already beyond product and tech. Basically, we organize events where we talk about leadership, share our knowledge and best practices about how to be a leader, how to be a good leader, and also get some inspiration from each other. So if you want to know about our updates and next events, please subscribe to our social channels that are shared in the description of the video. And today, our event is going to be special because we are trying a new format. It's going to be a career story. We're going to talk with our guest about her career story. And I hope that through this conversation, we are going to explore the values and the principles that help our guest to get some success and to go through her journey. And of course, we're going to get some inspiration. So our guest today, you probably see it on her screen already. Her name is Viktoria, and she is a marketing leader at V1 and Definity. That's cool blockchain startups. Before that, she led marketing and innovations for Adidas, G-Star, Hilding Anders, 8 and a bit more. So there's a lot of things to cover, but first of all, hi Viktoria, it's really nice to have you here.
Yeah, hi, I'm happy to be here and to take part in this initiative. It's first time for me, and I don't know, I think it will be fun.
Yeah. That's definitely going to be fun. That's the main reason why we are doing this. The last org preparations of the whole conversation is scheduled to be 45 to 1 hour, and I prepared many questions. If you're watching us online, you can ask and add your questions in the comments for the YouTube stream that you're watching. If you're watching a recording, you can reach out directly to Viktoria and ask her everything that you want. Good, we're ready to start. So first of all, when I was looking through your CV, it lists quite a lot of different roles. It's like a product lead, head of innovations, brand director, marketing manager. How do you introduce yourself professionally, at least?
Yeah, it's the thing that's specific to my CV, and I would say at the beginning I was thinking it's some kind of issue, but then I understood that it's strength. So especially in the field I work, innovative products and solutions. So when I come to the company, I explain that I'm professional, I'm expert in innovation field, and especially in marketing. So, and it explains a lot. If I have extra questions, I do some intro comment that I come from very turbulent environment. So I come from Russia, and my career starts the years when several financial, geopolitical, currency crises happened. So it's how the environment was, and I tried to lead this environment to build my career. Yeah.
Wow. So that's basically, it just represents how you were adapting constantly and changing to match the environment. Yeah. You said the financial crisis. Your first job was in corporate banking, right? What did you do? What did you do there?
Yeah, so my first education is banking, and I was like, I spent 5 years, maybe I should try. Yeah, so I went to the bank. It was a good bank. It was quite sustainable, not very popular, but very profitable. So because it was focused on corporate and investment products. So I started there working. I dedicated myself, my best knowledge I collected during my studying.
So what was your role? Sorry.
I started as education manager, product education manager, first half year. So we discussed that I want to be a marketing manager, and they offered me to start to educate. We had a big sales department, which are which need to know all the products perfectly because they speak to C-level people from big corporations, and I need to help them to know our products perfectly, to compare it to competitors. So it was like my first half-year introduction, and then I started to lead transactional and investment products for this bank. Yeah,
that's cool. And like, was it difficult even like to get the first job? You know, everyone is usually having questions how to get the first job.
Yeah, it wasn't easy because I wanted to go to the specific product field, and those days it wasn't so open as now, or like 5 years later. So it was only for experienced people. But I explained that I was a very good student. I tried a lot, and basically I worked during the studying for like did internships. So I just tried to convince them. But you know, I think it was just a match. It was a good match because I would say it was one of my best managers in my life that I met there. Yeah, he taught me a lot.
Wow, we're going to talk now. What did you learn from the manager, being the manager yourself?
You know, he was very smart. He didn't talk too much. He was thinking. At the meetings, he was silent. But he was very analytical in terms of people. So he observed people, he tried to understand what is valuable for them. And at the same time, he was very, I would say, the person who does everything in optimized way. So we didn't have any illogical processes. Like the department was really small, but the amount of work we did was a lot because all the transactions was very limited between people, and it was super cool. So he was very structured and at the same time very empathetic to understand people around him. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a really nice leader.
Yeah, but it's a very wise person, many years experience.
Oh, cool. And then the crisis started, right?
Yeah, the first currency crisis I met, the ruble fell down 3 times, like went down. And I had a passion all my life. I wanted to do clothes, so apparel. And this crisis helped me a lot because fashion companies in Russia, they were very closed. They didn't like people outside the industry. And they always hired mostly, not always, they hired mostly people who had some like a sense of taste. But then they faced with the situation that the margin started to be very, very low because of currency crisis. And they needed someone who is data-driven. And since I had such education and I had a passion in the fashion, so they invited me to work. And that's how my those day dream career started. And it was surprised because I led the whole light garment departments. It was like blouses, dresses. So it was a bit scary for me because I wasn't professional in fashion field. But yeah, it was good, synergy between us. It was designer, product development manager, and me who led and of course was responsible for results. And this data-driven mind helped me a lot. So it was useful for the company.
That's interesting. So basically, you switch from corporate banking to fashion because of your data-driven approach or like data-driven mindset.
And passion. Those 2 parts.
How did you pitch this on the interview process? So...
I tried. I remember that I did ugly presentation because it was a very short time, but I tried to provide that I have a logic. So I did market research and offer which products I would offer for the collection, which amount of products I would recommend to. I would say to merchandise, how much should they be, which colors and so on. So it was like the whole product matrix. I have no experience in that, but I just remember from my previous job, which I still those moments had, that in the result, I need to provide financially good results. How I will do this? I start to construct from product perspective, from financial perspective, and from like numbers perspective, not non-financial numbers. And it worked. Yeah, and I was very enthusiastic.
Do you think that was what kind of made you different from competitive, like from other people applying for these jobs, or it was just more luck type of situation?
what might me different from other applicants?
Yeah.
I don't know. Those days, I don't know, because another person was hired the same period for another product department, and she was more experienced than me. So I think it's because in this specific, the whole department team, there was a really big problem with number logic. So they were more passionate about product they create than what value in this product they deliver to the customers. So it was not perfect, not I mean perfect, but not good enough price policy, not good enough margin policy, not good enough planning policy. So that's how analyze it. So in this process, in working there, so because I was good at numbers, together, but still I was focused on numbers, we developed the policy how to plan the whole merchandise for this brand in the future from below and from the top perspective in terms of finance. Yeah. And it worked.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And why, like, from that position, did you have like any like strategy how to move into the next role, or how did this happen?
No, I didn't have a big strategy. I was just happy what I do. I was like, yeah, sometimes on the weekends I spend time at work because I was like, oh my God, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes there are other factors that affect. So I wanted to go back to Moscow because my mom lived there, and this specific company was in St. Petersburg. And I understand that in Moscow there are opportunities for like fashion field too. So it was like several factors, you know. And I moved back, and I went to Adidas, which was a big win for me because I never worked there, and it was cool. So yeah, and it was great. So I convinced them that I'm like doing everything with data analysis. I'm so cool. But when I went to Adidas, I understood that they are much more advanced in the data analysis. And it was such a big shock, and I was like, okay. Yeah, but I was good at product. I was good at fabrics, product, and other things.
So that's already the experience that you got in your previous role, right?
Yes, yeah. So I use this experience. But the problem was, so because like, for example, sometimes I could just see the picture or mock-up, and I could understand what will be in the end, which result, which my colleagues in Adidas didn't have, they didn't understand, but it was for me enough because I had this experience in product development. But it's just like constant, you know, I think what is cool is like to have this constant learning process when you work somewhere, and it's like amazing.
Yeah, that was like about to ask, because it feels like you're getting a lot of learning experience from those roles. Like how were you learning?
What method I had, or like
like did you read some books, shadow colleagues? I don't know.
Yeah, I suffered a lot.
Learning through suffering.
Yeah, it's just like, just keep going, learn, see how they do this, ask. They will be like, not they, like some colleagues or people will be annoyed by yourself, but by me, but I was like blind to that. So I understood that it's something what I need to finish my to finish my tasks, so to make them effective and faster as possible. So yeah, it's everyday learning, and it's what I loved working all my jobs I had. It was super cool. Yeah.
You mentioned suffering. Like, I mean, I assume like 5-10 years later, it's nice to say I was suffering, but at that point, what helped you to go through this suffering?
Oh, I don't know, enthusiasm. I'm just like
you were young.
Yeah, I was young, stronger health, enthusiastic, and so on. Yeah, but it has its consequences, issues such as burnout and so on. But it's I just accept it as the part of fast learning process. So I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I can like relate to this so much. And when was your first leadership role? Was it in Adidas or moving forward?
It was before. It was
Uh-huh.
before in this St. Petersburg company, and it was like, wow. So I'm responsible for the team. I'm responsible for the results, for the time they deliver. So, oh, I was studying inside the process again. So it was cool, but it was not easy. Sometimes, like people don't understand why you ask them for results or something because they sometimes people don't perceive you so, but it's learning process. You learn how to lead people, how to find the best approach to them, how to talk, when to talk. So yeah, I would say it's more like partnering process. It's not hierarchical leadership, but more same level. And in the end, you have a very good level of trust. So yeah, that's what I learned at this second company, fashion company in St. Petersburg.
I see. And how did you get promoted to the leadership role? Because I think like that's usually the biggest step in the career when you're a good individual contributor and everyone loves you so much for the work that you're doing that they don't want to promote you to a manager because then someone else
It
has
can
to do the
happen.
job.
Yeah, it happened too, but it happened with me later. No, I was just hired to this position. So they needed the single person of contact and the single person for result. So they like it's company's requirement and they saw this opportunity. So I wasn't even chosen for that. Oh no, not I didn't choose that. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I see. But that situation when they actually didn't want to promote you because you were a good individual contributor, was it in other company you said?
Yeah, it was my last company, but it wasn't. It was always a leadership role, but I wanted to go to another type of leadership, to another department, and it was my first time in life when top managers fought for me.
That sounds like a great problem to have, no?
It's and yeah, I would say it can have different outcomes.
Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, can go. Yeah, but it was, it's like a lot of when you, I would say, go proactively in career paths, there are a lot of new factors, new opportunities that open. So I decided to use third opportunity that opened those moments. So it's like how it works in my life. Yeah.
It's like your life is full of like what do you think is the key factors that create those opportunities? We are going super abstract. Like so basically the opportunities that we're talking right now, there was like you were on one leadership role and then in the same company they proposed another leadership role and then you went to another company.
I went to university.
To the university, you
Yeah.
went back to study. I have like a set of questions about studying. So in the end, you decided to quit, like to pause the career to get back to study.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and I would say it's like just keep being enthusiastic, positive, and it's very valuable for career and for people you work with and for your managers too. As far as I try to analyze my life, yeah, and same time be hardworking, and you will open these opportunities. Yeah, and be learning. Yeah, constantly learning. So that's how
And that's interesting because like I for myself I never managed to find this balance between like just being enthusiastic and proactive and giving everything to the company, you know, when you just like take every opportunity that you can grab and you just like burning out yourself yeah, like in a year or so. Did you manage to get this balance?
So that's a good question. I don't have stable balance. I have, I faced last 3 years since I started studying. It's the understanding that you have some kind of long-term goal, which you go into, but sometimes some period you need to work harder. Some period and then less studying. Then you make more studying process and work less, or you have a less vacations. I'm sorry to say that, but it's like when it's your personal choice, it's very cool, and you just balance between that. It's not stable balance, but it's like, I don't know, pendulum. You move from here to here. So Yeah, I think it really works because you like dedicate yourself a bit more to one topic, and the outcomes are much more flourishing than you would, in my case.
Yeah, if you spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And like when I talk to people about a career and especially moving to leadership role, I often find it difficult to really give recommendations because I know that from my experience, it took a lot of effort and like not sacrificing, but like choosing to focus 100% on work to get there. And I don't necessarily want to suggest this to give advice to anyone, but at the same time, it's difficult to find another path.
I love such a metaphor. I use it for myself when I try to, for example, learn something or do something, that I am the stone for the artist and he's doing the sculpture. So it's just long-term process. And the more this, and at the same time, I'm this artist, the more I dedicate to my skills, to my knowledge, to my path, the more time, the more working, the results are better, and the statue is much more beautiful, I would say.
Well, that's like, it looks like this approach definitely worked for your career. So from Adidas, you moved to G-Star, right?
Yeah. So since I'm working in very fast changing environment full of crises, it was, I think, third wave of currency crisis that we faced in 2014. It was several steps.
And I've been there. I've also been in Moscow at that point.
Yeah. So Adidas faced that they want to reduce their business in CIS generally, and basically Adidas had very huge business. So I think it's like almost the whole sports market was under this company, and they felt that they want to reduce number of stores, like 40%. And they launched a big layoff process. So I was in this list. I wasn't sad about it, to be honest. I was like, yeah, okay, I learned enough. I was paid for that. So now I can move forward. And I found a job very fast. I had a lot of offers, a lot of interviews, which I was invited to. And I was invited to lead the whole business G-Star in Russia. It was like a partnership venture. And it was a big learning process because I was responsible not only for product or merchandise planning. I was responsible for the whole business, store building, sales, product education, merchandise planning, relationship with a brand owner. So all the stuff, the legal things. It was very challenging, I would say, but it was cool. So I loved brand. I still love brand. If I would have a chance to work like a week again with G-Star, I would even pay for that. I really love what they do. They're very novel. Like it's what I first time faced with such thing, and like consistent approach to innovation. They do regularly cool, innovative denim from fabric perspective, from constructions, from design, and it was super cool to be part of that. So yeah, and I worked there. It was cool. Yeah.
Do you feel that when you came to that position, you were prepared for that role? Because that's like, it's almost like an executive role, right? Already.
Yeah. I expected other things when I come to this role. It was a bit surprise for me. But I was happy, like when you go look back, because you don't see yourself from outside, right? You like have a lot of fears, you have a lot of insecurities, you think you're not perfect. For example, you have people around who say you not nice things about your career, about the style you work in. So it was in my life too. And then you're appointed to such position and you're faced with real scope of work. And you, of course, at some point you have a question, why am I here? Why I was invited? But you just keep going and you solve the problems. Yeah, they are new. Yes, you need to ask. Yes, you need to ask in advance. Or when it's too late, you need to hurry up to manage things. But in this process, being like Adidas teach me a lot how to communicate with people in a very good high standards, because it's like international company. They have a very good approach. So this style helped me to communicate with people and to involve them to pursue goals together, like, to solve problems together. Of course, I was responsible for that, but I really got a lot of support from the team, and it was like super cool. Yeah. So
well, so like it looks like in Adidas you already learned this European approach to leadership, which is I think quite different from the Russian more like directive.
Yeah, it's totally different. Russian approach is a bit more hierarchical, I would say, micromanagement. But it's part of the working culture. In Adidas, it's less micromanagement, it's more trust, and this trust like inspires people to do their best. And it was cool. It really works. I love it. Yeah.
Wow, I really like it, because for me, I didn't work in an international company before moving to Europe, and I struggled a lot because I went straight from Moscow to Berlin, and at my first job, it was terrible. I had to learn all my people skills and like how to communicate to people from scratch. So I think like it's just a nice kind of middle step to work in the international company to pick up those nuances. And how do you think, because like I think it's like really cool when you're hired to like a really stretch role where you don't have experience to execute, so you're learning super quickly. So do you think, is it better to be in situation where you hired for the stretch role, or more gradual, like when you're moving to the next level where you're actually ready?
I would say in terms of those environments, you're looking, as if I try to understand my manager, you're looking for potential, because every day new problems come, and they don't like last day problems, and we have new challenges, and like agile person and enthusiastic and person with the potential for the specific role, I would say it can give more results than wait to prepare, because like since you're making more gradual, the market can change. It's like doesn't work anymore.
And how do you show potential on the interview? Is there any tips?
I think it's what Adidas learned me to like. Maybe people call it fake it till you make it. You just like try to be the person you would love to see yourself. Like maybe it's a bit manipulative, but yeah, you just come to your role and you do your best. You're friendly. I would say like general feature I had at all interviews I had in my life: be friendly, be calm, and be enthusiastic, and it works.
It definitely works. You said that in your experience there were situations where people were saying not good things about your career, your style. What was that? How did you deal with this?
First years I was angry about that. I felt myself a long time bad about it, but then it comes with the age, that understanding that it's not about yourself, and people talk about themselves and they try to explain why some things didn't work in their path. So even if they could have career, like if everything is okay. And to be honest, these people are best teachers, I would call in my life, because I was a bit mad about words I heard, and I wanted to convince myself that they are not right. So I worked harder. I was more brave. So you become more brave, a bit more like aggressively brave.
The adrenaline.
Yeah, that I can, and then it works. Yeah.
I see. I see. I actually see a nice question in the chat, so I'm not going to wait till the end. I'm going to ask it right now because it feels really um, aligned with what we're talking right now. Did you feel at some point like not understanding how what you're learning is going to help you in the professional future? I assume that's about like you're learning like new skills in your roles.
Yes, it can happen, but it's a very low probability that it will happen because generally we have this same scope of tasks in each job. So we need to be good in organizational skills, in time management, in communication is very important. In some specific field, maybe it will not work like next year. You will not you will not have a chance to use it, but it can be a year after. So it depends on the specific skill, but any skill you learn will have a great impact in the future 100%. It's what I learned in my first education. One professor, like we studied audit, banking audit, he told us that he was very skilled. He worked in some consulting, and he told that I understand that it's not interesting for you. You don't understand what it's for. But then when you will be 45 in your career path, you will remember and you will not need anymore to learn it again. Like you can repeat it. So it will come later. So I would say so. But it can happen. It's just life. There are some risks, like one skill from 10 will not work, but other 10 will work definitely.
Yeah, I assume also like all these risks, they get like all the skills, like some particular skills like audit, they also give some meta skills like
yes,
detail oriented, problem solving, communication and stuff like this.
You understand how prices approach, like you see that when someone gives you some documents, you see like something doesn't match. It's meta knowledge. It's a very good term. I like it.
Yeah. Also, I assume that even if you learn something that you don't like, at least you learn that you don't like it.
Yes, it's very important. It's super important, because like you understand, you stop thinking about should you go there or not. Like you just, okay, no, it's not for me. Go from that. Yeah, definitely.
Got it. And we were talking about G-Star and you said that that's like a dream company. So why did you move forward from it?
It's a funny story again. Like I have a box with funny stories.
Okay, open it.
So do you remember last week I was at music festival?
Yeah.
And those year I was at the same music festival. I was so happy. I was walking, like I have a tour in Netherlands and Belgium. It was like amazing, it was warm. I was tent and it was so cool. And I come back to work and it's so amazing. I don't know, it was awesome. I was really chilled. And then some recruiters started to approach me very consistently, very active. I would say like it wasn't very nice, but I even sometimes I didn't want that, but it just happened. I ignored her because I didn't answer her calls. And one moment I started to receive messages in Facebook from this recruiter assistant.
As a persistence.
Yes. And she was like, let's have a talk. And I was like, okay. And it was a furniture company. And they have production in Russia. They produce products. So they were looking for someone who will lead their new innovative business, but more like category management. Like smart electronics, performance materials for sleeping products. It's, like cooling blankets, all these things like cooling pajamas.
All the cool stuff.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that sounds so cool. And those years when I worked in Adidas and G-Star, I was missing this part to create product, because when you work as a market for big companies, you mostly do sales. Yeah. More or less. So it's cool. It's a lot of analytics. You have a great chance to work with the cool people from headquarters. Really cool. Like the most beautiful people you can see. It's like in the headquarters, fashion companies.
I can imagine.
Like so nice. And but this chance to create products is what I was really attracted to. We had an interview, we discussed some details, some opportunities, and it was funny because at the end of the interview, I was invited to come and check the factory. And I was like, don't you need time to think like about my about me as a person or future prominent candidate? And they were like, no, you can come and work. We like you. And I'm like, that's
that. You need to give us some workshop how to pass the interview process.
I was chilled. I was after vacation. The best moment in career to go to interviews is after vacation, after great vacation, 2 weeks. I was chilled, I was friendly, and I was enthusiastic.
You also didn't want it, or like you didn't.
I didn't want it at all.
You didn't need that job, so we're like really.
I didn't even want
it.
I wanted to stay with G-Star, and I even told them, like the recruiter, I'm sorry, but I love what I do. It's everything perfect, and like financial conditions, it was perfect for me. But they were like, let's have a talk. So it's like, destiny chose me. And I moved there. It wasn't easy because it was back to like Russian style company, but it was under big Swedish corporation, Metros corporation too, Hilding Anders. So basically I worked not only for like local brand, I worked for Hilding Anders innovations too. But we had our own laboratory, so it was like much faster, much quicker to do innovations there. So I was like happy doing that, talking to colleagues, trying to build a relationship, because again, you're a new person from a big city, they don't like you because they think that you're very arrogant, but you're basically nice, and it takes time to have this trust. And then I was like, there was a big restructuring. So when I was preparing to this call with you, I understood that I probably already showed skills I had. So the like personal traits or professional traits, and there was big restructure, and I was appointed as head of innovations for the whole company. So before I was like category manager, for that, of course leading, but it's not like head of innovations, the whole innovations, like not only products but other innovations. And it was like, okay. So I wasn't offered in advance, I was just like told at the whole department, like, okay, start that. And it was much more load, because it was everything new. I didn't understand what I'm doing. So, but I continued doing my best job I could, deliver the result. And this role, I did great things. I would say like this smart bedroom, first smart bedroom in CIS. So it was like real bedroom with a full smart products. Of course, I didn't do this a lot alone. It was the team. So inside and like with me, who helped me, some people were dedicated 100% to me, some people were outside. So it was cross-divisional too. And then about brand directorship, it was under this position too. So the company said that we are going to go to Europe. You have 5 months. Like 5 months later, the products and the whole concept should be executed. Everything should be delivered. The store should be open, first store. And we had nothing. And I have my normal load, like mobile applications, smart bed, smart bedroom, the category I'm managing, and new brand. And I was like, it's such a great chance that I dreamed about to make a cool sleep performance brand when I worked here, and it's my chance to do this. I wanted to move to another project those moments, but I decided to and I see that I can to finish that. Now you can see the stores in London. I think 5 stores in London, Barcelona, Lisbon, Berlin, Köln, and US. They are in US now. So I'm very happy to be like person who made this project.
Started this.
Yeah, this was cool. Yeah, and then I moved to study.
Do you think, I'm just like wondering, because like you said that, and I was proposed this role and they told me that I'm this role. Do you think it's like, it's something about your skill set, how you work, how you show how you work, that influence this? It's like what like basically, yeah, what is the impact of your working style that influence the promotions compared to just luck or like a environment?
I would say that the job I did in the past, which I learned a lot of things there, they helped 100% to get these promotions. I didn't even plan. So it's like the data analytics skill set, it's product knowledge skill set, it's knowledge of retail, knowledge of building the stores. It helped a lot. So if you have people have a challenges, they think they are not ready to, probably they need to try to think it from another point to see that they can learn from that. So it helped a lot. Other skills like knowing English language, knowing how to communicate, how to write emails, how to pursue people like partners, how to convince them, how to manage the problems. It helped a lot too. So it was just general skill set. And again, this communicative approach, staying all the time positive. Because you will always have a lot of issues at work with misunderstandings with something, but keep being positive. Let people perceive you, colleagues perceive you as the person who is first of all comfortable to work with. I'm sorry to say that. Of course, it's not really need to think all the time, but it's like because together you work much better than you're like argue or conflict with each other. So yeah, this skill set, soft or hard, helped a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And how, after having such a great career already, how did you decide to go studying? I'm asking as a person who never dared to go for MBA because I was too afraid to start my career. How did you make this decision?
I always wanted to have a global career. But the opportunities that I thought I would have in the past, like do it through Adidas or G-Star, didn't work. I had several attempts. I had the attempts to find a job. So, or with a last company, probably like you launch the totally new brand to Europe, you will move to Europe. No, it won't. And it is good because basically I don't know the European environment. I don't know how people work here. I can just read in the internet or had some limited experience since I worked for international companies, but basically I don't know the environment. So I was preparing for this like around 3 years. I was thinking about it. So and I thought that the later I want it, like later I make it, the worse for me. It's better to do this now while I'm still younger. It's like, I mean, it doesn't mean that like younger, but I mean more healthier. Now it's easier to study now because your brains are much faster. My brains are much faster. My health like helped me with that because when I will be like 32, it's already for me difficult. Like now.
You already want to enjoy life, right?
Yeah. So, and I decided like now I need to do this. I need at least to try. So, and I tried and I was enrolled to TU Berlin. And I come here to study and then COVID starts.
Our favorite.
Yes.
But you said that you were also trying to find a job, international job, and what was the reason it didn't work? What do you think?
I think another communicative approach, not enough localized, not enough probably internationalized. So I still come from a specific culture, and this culture has a lot of prejudice and prejudice about this culture. So it was difficult to go through this barrier, but that's why this education approach is good because you have official information that you can, and so, and it's like I would say safer for companies to hire you and to work with you.
And how did you choose the subject for studying?
It was innovation since I wasn't head of innovations.
did you learn anything new, or you already kind of came and I know everything?
When I come, I was like, I know everything and just listen and just pass exam. No. was so hard because I forgot how really to learn. Because when you're working, you have some career, you have some knowledge, and you mostly exploit them at some point. And you keep constantly learning. Here I come, I figure out that I can't write any essay because in my first education, we basically didn't have any essays. We did a lot of calculations, all this stuff. And here I have to write essays. I need to deliver specific presentations. I have no idea how to do this. And when you ask someone, like, check on the internet, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't know. Just thinking, like, or you work in the group, and group thinks totally different. Because, like, I have one approach, they have another approach. And it was a big lesson for me to be more modest, like more calm, and listen people around. Yeah.
Wow, I can imagine. And so then the COVID started, so you finished your studying, and then you had to find a job, and it's COVID, and it's like everything is crazy.
You know what was cool? I did double degree program. It was TU Berlin and High School Economics Warsaw, and we had a very exhausting, very hard, but very cool course. It's called leadership. Oh my God, it was so hard. we had to read so much materials. We had to watch a lot of videos. We had to analyze it, to write reports. The lectures were very heavy. And in the end, we faced with the situation. The teacher told us such term. If you don't know who you are, how can I teach you be a leader? Like in the end of the whole course. It's like, it was double credit course, and not 6 for like 12. I'm like, what? And it was a very good question to, in the end, start asking yourself who you are, what you do, where do you go? And I was thinking what actually I want to do. I can go back to fashion, but let's be honest, fashion has a bad situation now since COVID, since cotton crisis in China. So it's difficult. Then I studied innovations, but at the same time, retail here is different. I learned language in German here. And one of the reasons was why I wanted to study, because I understood that I need one more European language. It's not enough just to
English was not enough.
So, and I'm not those moment tech person. I moved to here now. So, and it was the period about, do you remember NFT, digital fashion last year? It was like everywhere in the media.
Yeah.
And a lot of fashion brands moved now to a metaverse, NFT thing. And I was like, And I started to learn, and then I figured out that it's something, a big thing now, and it will be a big thing later, I would say so, and I'm convinced now of that, because the implementation of the technology is so wide in finance, in logistics, in fashion, in documentary work. So, and it was such a big challenge to understand what is it, to be honest.
I totally understand. I'm a technical person.
Yeah.
It took me a lot of time to understand.
Yeah, but I was like, since a long time, even after studying, I felt, oh my God, I understand nothing in this world. And I was so, I called my friend and I said, something's going on in the world and we missed that. It's so things, all these projects, the Central Land. I remember I told her about the Central Land, and she was like, what's going on? What, are you crazy now or what? Because she didn't understand why I'm so scared or excited. And I started to learn, and it makes me so excited, such a new field that I can learn there, and I keep going. And I decided that that's the field I go to, the blockchain. So, and I started to look for positions. And since I understood that I'm after studying, my previous experience not so relevant here, let's be honest. I started to consistently apply for all the positions to the topic marketing, since I have a big experience in marketing and blockchain. I explained that I'm very enthusiastic about this, very passionate, and I have experience in marketing, so let's try. And I was offered, I think I applied 100 roles around, so every time my goal. Yeah, it's every time my goal, 100 positions to apply, and you sit and apply and change your cover letters. And yes, I found the team, and I would say it's perfect team for me because we are very adjustable, agile. the team is experienced. These are people many years working in finance and like data transfer, data exchange, and banking, of course, too. And I would say it's like first team who loved my experience, my fast changing environment experience of the job, and they loved my banking experience, then my marketing experience. They listened to me very carefully what I did in the past. I showed them presentation with all projects, asked me several questions, and then they decided that like, let's come to us, let's try together. And I was happy because I like them too. They reminded me my first manager in those banking.
Oh, that like really wise person.
Yes. And I was like, these people can teach me a lot. I need to go to this team because like it's very important for me to have a chance to learn things at every job I do. So now I'm leading the marketing for We Own. It's blockchain platform provider of institutionals to get access to digital assets like crypto assets. And another is joint venture startup with We Own. It's called Definity. It's a UK team. They do digital asset access to, but for UK market, for institutionals. So now I'm working there, and I'm very happy about it.
Wow. But how does it like, because you said like 100 applications, I'm wondering like, when you have already a career experience and you prove to yourself that you manage so many things, is it easy to actually like, first of all, start almost like from scratch, like in a new field, but also to see that you have to try so hard to get the job, like you have to apply like 100 times?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's both parts. It's not easy to start from scratch, but it's very dangerous not to start from scratch, I would say. I had once a talk in my past with one colleague. She was more experienced than I, and we discussed about value we provide to work. And it was like nice discussion, not like a big discussion. And she insisted that experience is important. And I insisted that learning process is important because like your experience is good, but it can be good like those moments. Now it needs to be probably another things. And since we're working in very, very changing, very fast-paced changing environment, new business models are coming, new technologies. It's like, it's cool to know what was 5 years ago, but sometimes it's like me, when I figure out what blockchain is and how much it's went much further, or like this metaverse when it come, but it all was already existing. Just I didn't know. It's like not a new thing at all, and it was my my lack of knowledge that I didn't know about this industry since even when I did innovations last like 4 years. I would say it's my fail, to be honest. So not to start from scratch, not to be ready to start every time from scratch. I think it's dangerous for me, like so I'm always ready to start from scratch. And another part, of course, it's, it's frustrating to apply to the jobs, but since you understand that in long term it gives you much more value, much more happiness, it's like such a little price, like we have all these informational resources like LinkedIn or I don't know, Coursera, where we can learn skills. We have so much information around us. We just need to pick and choose what we like and what will be good for us. Why not to use it? So I don't need to go physically to give my CVs, right?
The effort is actually quite low right now.
And sometimes even what was funny when I was applying these positions, there was one position I was perfectly fit. Like it was the role for me. I had experience in the sleep business. I had the project that I already did what they are working now on, and I was cancelled. And it was like, and sometimes just give leadership to your destiny. Sometimes this way is closed for you. Maybe you need to go to another.
Yeah, because that would be like basically doing the same that you were doing before.
Yes.
It's interesting. Do you know what so why they rejected your?
They told me that I'm too nice. It's literally what they told me on this role. I tell it now as a joke. I can't name the company, I'm sorry. But I was shocked and I was like, okay, I'm nice, but I did projects you do now 3 years ago. I delivered them to the market. Maybe that I'm nice, it works. Like, you know.
Nice.
Yes. And then I read about the environment inside the company. It was like very, you know, fast changing, not collaborative startup environment.
Yeah.
Really fast growing startup. So, and I was like, I don't want to argue with my colleagues. I wanted to collaborate with them. I want to learn, but like to convince them to do things that obviously needed to be done. It's against my nature. So I want to be a bit more, I don't, but like
a bit more nice.
yeah. Do you remember my first manager? He was perfect in this moment that he didn't create extra challenges to make him work, you know?
Yeah.
Everything was very optimized. Transactions were optimized, communication was optimized, documents were optimized. And it was cool. Like you manage only real problems, like not problems you created for yourself.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Wow, that's like I think like it takes a lot of optimism to keep applying and like after
Of course.
getting rejections and especially for the roles where you know that you're good at.
Yes, and I think it's okay, and like it's so cool to have a chance to learn new things. It's really cool. So I think I like, you know, for one side you work and get salary, another side you learn and like you get salary that you are learning. It's amazing.
Yeah, I totally understand. Like when you said that it's dangerous not to start from scratch, I literally got like the goosebumps because I was having the same choice and the same thinking at some point, like really recently. So that's I'm still like, oh my god, this is so powerful. Like we almost over time with our conversation. Yeah, it has been already 1 hour. I wanted to ask the last question because now you move to the technical, to the tech basically industry, and you came not from tech. Was it difficult because everyone usually scared, oh, if I move to tech, I need to be technical. Any tips what to learn? Do you need some technical knowledge to do your work?
It is good to enhance yourself. So, for example, that's why at the university I did Python course, Python programming. It is good to know what you will work inside. So at least you can, like, again, you have a Coursera or you have YouTube. There is a lot of things you can learn to show that you understand what is work really about. And at the same time, when you come to another field, you're not probably like, I would offer you to think that you already have a skill set, because if you didn't know that at all, you probably will not apply and no one would probably not apply to you. But since, like, for example, I worked in the marketing, and now I work in the marketing. Okay, I need to have another product. I have another channels, but generally my goal is to deliver them the result, like sale, like the top goal is the profit. I'm sorry to say that, but for enterprises, profits are made from sales. So I need to create sales. To create sales, I need to generate leads, to create awareness, and so on. So it's like deconstructing, and to understanding that, like I understood, but I did it in the past. So, and I showed that I did it in the past, and I showed that I have another skills, and like other people, of course, have other skills: problem solving, time management, organizational skills, languages. So yeah, and that's why, back to the question that some skills won't be useful in the future, they will definitely be useful. Definitely will be useful. You can use that, and the more, I would say, the more skills, the wider skill set you have, the more valuable you for the team, especially for startups. So, and like in the past, in the retail, in the fashion, it helped me a lot. Like, yeah, because, you know, generally what you do there, it's not only making your part, it's like general understanding how you move to this goal as the company towards. Yeah.
I see. Great. I think we are done.
Oh, cool.
Thank you so much. No, oh my God. I was like making some notes because I wanted to like write some like after our call some kind of summary, and it's so inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And we are looking forward to see how your career is gonna evolve and develop in the next 2 years. It's gonna be jumps and switches again, I assume.
It can. I recently discovered hobby that I love baking. So I don't know, maybe in 2 years I will make a bakery.
Oh my God, we need to do another round of the interview then.
Yes. About more entrepreneurship lifestyle.
Definitely. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Thank you for having me. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Ciao.